Hi teachers. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Clever program to organize apps and websites for your students so that they only have to log into one place to go everywhere that you want them to go for all the various programs. So first I'm on the school's website, obviously, staff student links, and I click Clever. And now in your Clever account, I want you to notice these three boxes. So when Clever first comes up, you're on what is your homeroom page. And this box says just you. So obviously those are apps that only you can see. You can add them to this collection, but your students won't be able to see them, just you. And that's mostly for apps that maybe you think you want to use with your class, but you still are working with it, learning it, deciding if you're going to use it. So you don't quite want to put it out there for your students yet, but you want access to it through Clever. So that's what this is for. This middle box, for me, it says Ms. Batten's apps. For you, it'll have your name and the word apps. These are the apps that are visible to your students when they log into Clever. This is only for teachers who have a roster of students in PowerSchool that are assigned to them. When you add apps to this box, to your name and apps, those are the apps that then all of your students can see. This last box says district page, and on the district page, those are also apps that your students can see. In fact, every student in the district can see these apps. Now, for your students, I'm going to click My Classroom, of course, because I don't have a list of students in PowerSchool. Even when I add apps here, students at our school cannot see them. But when you're on your page, there's a couple of different ways you can add apps. Now, the apps are websites that have already paired with Clever, so that when you put the app on your page, your login information and all of your students' information is automatically put into that program or that app. So once your students click on it, they're already logged in. It just makes it a lot easier, especially for the elementary age kids. So for example, if I were a classroom teacher and I was using Seesaw, then I put Seesaw here. And if I had students, they would already be able to log into Seesaw just by clicking it. So that's why we use Clever and why you want to add your apps to this page so that your students can see them. Now, let's say I'm looking for an app, or let's say I want to add an app and I'm hoping that it is on Clever. I'm going to click Add, and you can see you have three choices. You could add a category. That is basically folders that organize. If you have a whole lot of apps and you want to organize them into categories for your students, I don't recommend that at the elementary level. Kids just need to see what their options are right in front of them without having to open up an extra thing, an extra folder. Here is a link. This is where you can add a link to a website that has not already connected with Clever. And I will show you that in a second. And then here's where you can add an app. So I'm going to click App. Okay, so let's say, and there's an app I thought I'd heard of that starts code something. Oh, CodeSpark. Actually, I'm going to put CodeMonkey on there and then go back. I think I might have CodeSpark already. I've used that one. But CodeMonkey I don't have. And then you can see it's for 3rd through 8th graders. So notice this, if you're looking for an app or you've heard of one, but if it pops up and it's for older kids, clearly don't use that. But this I could use with 3rd through 5th graders at Diggs Latham. So I'm going to hit Install CodeMonkey. And I want you to notice that the first time when you install an app, it tells you here it's going to create accounts for you and for your students. And then down here, select a page or pages to install this app. You have to have your name and the word apps here in order for the app to go on the page so that your students can see it. If you only want to see this app yourself and not have your students see it, then drop down menu and you'd click just you. Now, when you go here, if what you see here says just you, then make sure you click this drop down menu so that, because down here that you'll then see your name and the word apps, and that's the one you want to choose. I'm going to click allow and continue. All right, and then I can set up my classroom, do what I need to do. I'm not going to get into that right now. So I just wanted to connect it to my Clever account. So now it's connected. I'm going to X out of that. All right, so that's how you search for an app. Now let's say I want to search to see if there's an app that's in Clever. So let's say for example, I know Raz Kids is one. And even just typing in Raz, it's not popping up. That tells me that Clever and then the program Raz Kids haven't connected with each other so that our students could log in. I still want to put that link on my Clever page because, again, it gives students one less place to go to. So I am going to open that tab, and I am going to type in, start typing it in, it pops up. So whatever website you want to add that's not already in Clever, go to that website. What I recommend is that you then, if there's a separate thing to click for the kids to log in, then you're going to click Kids Log In. Now, if I wanted, this was for me and I had a homeroom, then I could just leave it here and I can copy this. But just to be safe, I still want to be copying the student login website web address. So I go here where this is what students would see the very first time they went to Raz Kids to log in as a student. This is what I'm going to copy. So I highlight the address bar. When I'm copying anything, the easiest thing for me is I hold down the control key, I hold down the letter C. That copies it. You can also just right click and click copy. All right, then I go back to my Clever page. I'm going to add, this time I'm going to add a link because again, this is not a program that's connected with Clever, but I can still put it on Clever. So I'm going to paste it there. And I'm going to type in Raz Kids. I have not created a bunch of categories because like I said, we just want, for elementary, just have one page. So you don't mess with this. Raz Kid, you can pick a generic picture. Raz Kids is reading, so I'm going to click the books. And I click Add Link. Now that link is there. And again, what that does, when your students log in, they will see not only the apps that you have put on in your class library, that they can click and automatically be logged in because they're logged into Clever. But now, if it were my class, they could just click that Raz Kids link. It takes them to Raz Kids. They still, because it's not technically, because the class roster isn't connected to Raz Kids, they still have to, the first time, type in, if there's a class code or whatever they need to type in that you have already given them so they can have access. But once they've done that one time, they usually don't ever have to do that again, especially being at home and they're the only one using a Chromebook. So keep that in mind. I really recommend you put everything you want your kids to go to within your personal classroom apps list. Include the links to things that even if they're not in Clever, it's so much easier for your kids to get where you want them to go and a lot less hassle for them having to log in. And don't forget, if it is a separate account, yet it's on Clever, like what I did with Raz Kids, make sure they have clear directions on how to log in. It's either you can send them a private message in PowerSchool Learning, or if it's a general, say, teacher login, you can put that on PowerSchool Learning. Thanks.